Hey guys, Tuvi here from vflat World. Many of you don't know, but I'm actually the owner of vflat World. Before I did vflat World or made vflats, I did fashion photography actually for 6 years. Today we are going to do 3 lighting setups. We're basically going to be using just the black side of the V-flat and we're going to be subtracting light. I feel like a lot of people are mostly using the white side. I know a lot of people, especially pros, are using the black more than the white. I want to show you why the black is so effective and how you can make subtle differences that are very, very important. We're here shooting with our beautiful model Val, who is actually the first model that we ever shot with right when we started the company. She's incredible. The first lighting setup that we're going to be doing is called loop lighting, where you take a beauty dish, you put it on either the right or the left side of the model at a 45-degree angle, and it creates a little shadow loop on the side of the model's nose, and that's why it's called loop lighting. And we're going to be using a black V-flat on one side of the model as well to bring in more shadows, but we're going to show both before and after and what the differences are using the V-flat. We're not using the V-flats for this shot. I'm going to take a shot, let's see how that looks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lower the beauty dish. So basically what I did was lower the beauty dish, the angle, so it's not so above, so the shadows aren't as crazy. You do want shadows, but they were just a little too much. Let's take a picture now. Okay. So now you can see that there's a nice loop on the left side of the model, well, our left, and you can still see her eyes. Okay, again, let's have you a little up. Okay, cool. So basically when you're shooting this type of lighting with a beauty dish, you have to be careful because any way that the model moves is going to change the effect. So if you're going for loop light, if she moves a little bit, that's going to change where that shadow falls. So you have to be careful that the model stays in the proper position. So I'm going to add the V-flat in. Okay, so now I've added the black side of the V-flat, and we're going to see what that does. Okay. Let's take one more. Okay. So this is without the V-flat, and this is with the V-flat, and you can see that the shadows become a lot darker over here. So it's way more exaggerated. You can still see the loop, but it kind of like fades into like this Rembrandt light, and it's kind of really cool. It's very dramatic, very edgy. This is without. You can see they're not as deep over here, the shadows. And then they switch to here, basically becomes black over here, creating this like cool kind of lighting on her face. The second lighting setup that we're going to do is called butterfly lighting. We're using the same beauty dish, but this time we're putting it directly in front of the model overhead at a 45-degree angle, and it's going to create a little butterfly shape from the shadow of her nose, hence the name butterfly lighting. And we're going to be using 2 V-flats, black side on either side of the model, and we're going to be showing the difference with and without the V-flat and the little differences that it makes on the side of the cheeks and the drama and shadows that it adds. Okay, so we're going to start without the V-flats. I'll just do a couple shots. Okay, and the good thing about having a model who has experience, so you don't need to say much, they just kind of know what you're doing. See a little butterfly light over there. You have to be careful how you position her again because it's going to affect the shadows in her eyes and all over the face. So we brought in the 2 black V-flats on either side, and we are going to see what that looks like now. Same lighting setup, butterfly lighting, 1 beauty dish overhead at a 45-degree angle. Perfect. I like how that looks. Let's take a look at it. Let's see the difference. All right, so you can see very, very clearly the difference in the lighting. It adds that little touch of shadow to the side, which is what we're looking for these images. So without and with. So for the third and final lighting setup, we're going to be using a large umbrella directly in front of the model overhead at a 45-degree angle. There's diffusion on the umbrella to add some softness. And we're going to be taking 2 V-flats, the black sides, and placing them on either side of the model. And we're going to be taking 2 strobes, sticking them in the V-flats, pointing them back out onto the backdrop, and lighting the backdrop like that. And the good part about having the V-flats, aside from the subtraction that it's going to be doing and taking away some of the light on the model's face, creating shadows, it also blocks the strobes that are lighting the backdrop, and it prevents the light from coming into the lens and creating weird glare. And this light is really a beautiful light, especially straight out of camera. When you're dealing with a bigger, softer light, it's not going to be as hard compared to a beauty dish. All right, now that we've added the V-flats, we're going to see what happens when we take the photo and how it affects the image and the lighting. Okay, so let's take a look over here. They look really, really nice. I like the backdrop. I like how it's like even and has a nice white to it. It's not pure white, but it's definitely white enough. This is without the V-flat, and this is with the V-flat. Without and with. And you can see the subtle differences that it makes. So not always when you're using V-flats, especially when you're subtracting, are you going to notice massive differences. As a matter of fact, most of the time you probably won't. It'll be subtle little differences. That's why V-flats are really more of a pro tool. It's for photographers that really appreciate and care about small little details and subtle changes in the lighting. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. We have a lot more content coming with very, very talented photographers. We'll see you next time.